here's the main takeaway from this whole little comparison. If you're going into the mountains where the slopes are steep enough to go tobogganing, maybe find a nice slope to glissade or boot ski, then you're going to need something for traction. Duh. If you're going into the mountains, into those conditions early enough to where there is not a boot track expected, then you will be walking on those steep slopes on your edges of your shoes if you're not going straight up or straight down. There are definite techniques, safety techniques, to be able to do that. Now, as a skier, I'm sure you have many times sidestepped up a hill on your edges of your skis. You know that sensation. Because I can't show you in a Zoom presentation, I'm going to have to rely upon your memory of what it took to do that. Walking on your edges on skis or on your boots, it's the same sensation. You're throwing your knees into the hill. So if you're traversing up a hillside, you're walking with your knees angled into the hillside. Now, if you're on a boot track, that's not the problem because you're now on a flat surface, although it's on a hill. The biggest danger comes on traversing. So if you're in early, like you guys will be in May, you're not going to have a boot track unless you have somebody stomping, footprints in front of you. Now, I had a student up in just north of Harts Pass, one mid-June, not too many years ago, following me on a very steep traverse. And we were, man, I guess it was kind of flat even. But anyway, it was on a steep side traverse. He was walking in my footprints. He was a little heavier than me. He thought, man, if he stayed in my footprints, just like I had said, he's not going to go anywhere. He post-holed suddenly because he was a little heavier. What that did is it caused his head to follow gravity a little bit. He lost his balance. He tumbled the length of a car, broke 2 ribs and avulsed his scalp, ripped his scalp back on a couple of trees. The length of a car. So this stuff happens. Now, with that in mind, since you guys are going to be in early, microspikes are history. You can't go with them for a couple of reasons. One, they roll off your feet. I product tested the Cthulhu microspikes back in 2010 for them. They were a mess. They were, no matter what we did, we incorporated the rubber bands on the sides of our feet into our laces. We laced them together, got those rubber bands sucked up on the top of our feet. They still came off when you're going across a steep traverse. Also, the teeth are closer to the center of the shoe than with a hiking crampon like Cthulhu's KTS or K10. But nevertheless, on a steep traverse, it's the edge of your shoe that first does all the work, even if you've got hiking crampons on. So you've got to work at recognizing your traction and assuming you have none and create and kick and scratch and whatever for every footstep in some places because the snow will be so crusty. It's not really icy. You guys, we refer to it being icy, but it's not glare ice. It's not liquid frozen water. It's just a really hard, crusty snow that's slippery. And it's the type of footwear that's going to save your tail first and give you confidence and give you what it takes to be able to quit worrying so much and start thinking ahead to the next risk and identifying it. Because you go from one little goofy slope to another goofy slope, and then you have to assess all of these as you go. And you'll get better and faster at it. But to try and wrap this up, microspikes are fine if you know you have a boot track. If you don't, like you're going in the Sierra in May, do not count on it and take hiking crampons. One, the teeth are longer, the teeth are further out to the side of the shoe, but most of all, the advantage in the design of a hiking crampon like that one, 2 things. One, you do not have forward fangs. Get my fingers right. You don't want front-facing fangs that will swing and hit your Achilles tendon of your other leg. I've seen a lot of accidents like that. See, climbers in climbing schools are trained how to use their ice axes. They're trained how to use their climbing crampons. They practice this stuff. Through hikers are thinking, what tool do I need? And I'm going to bring it because that's what they say is going to make me safe. But they don't know what to do with it. So they're not trained in the safety aspects of that tool. These are tools. So, and I know you understand it, but take your hiking crampons because they have a frame that wraps up the side of your foot. So you've got a frame that you're standing on. Gotta get this right. You got a frame you're standing on. Wish I could do it better. But that frame will wrap up the sides of your feet. You'll have metal coming up the side of your feet. So when on the Microspikes, when you're on an angle and you're standing flat-footed on that angle, your foot wants to slide down the hill sideways. That's why all the pressure goes into the rubber band, and the rubber band just curls right around your foot and comes off. On the hiking crampon, how do I want to do this? Leg crampon. The leg and the foot want to slide into the frame on the side of the hiking crampon. The metal frame is there to hold your foot in place. So you can dig in, even though your foot is canted over, like something you'd never do on skis. On skis on a side hill, you are edged in. You know, if you were to let those edges go, where are you going to go? Straight down the hill, sideways. Same thing is true. So long and short of it is, and learning curve is going to be based on sensation and your sense of balance. Got to have those two poles out there. You got to be having a wide triangular base of support, especially in the scary places. If you're on a traverse, see, I'm getting into a lot of technique here, but this is all going to help you guys in the future. On a traverse, your downhill pole is next to your hip. It should not be out there. So your downhill pole is to prevent your head from going downhill. So through your arm, you're pushing on your downhill pole to push your head uphill. So it should not be up ahead of you. Like you'll see the through hikers doing their pole swing on a traverse. To me, you never know when you're going to lose your balance. Your first protection is that downhill pole, because what are you going to do? Your head's going to start going downhill and you're going to have to push against it. If the pole isn't next to you, 3 o'clock or 9 o'clock, depending upon which way you're going on the hillside, you've got no way to resist gravity. So I digressed a little bit there, but the learning curve will come as you feel it. As a skier, you've got a wealth of information on what it feels like to be in balance, especially in motion.